Good afternoon to you all, and thank you for the invitation to speak today. For as long as I can remember, it's been the small moments of faithfulness by my parents that were foundational to me knowing the love of Jesus. I cherished growing up in church and going to a Christian school because it was those things that paved the way for me as a little girl in year 3 to step through the doors of our CRU lunchtime group. It was there that Claire from the CRU School's ministry team would come and visit and share about Jesus. CRU group was foundational for me in learning God's word with other people who love Jesus. During high school, I dreamed of a job where I could work with young people in the outdoors and in a job where I was able to share Jesus. Fast forward to me after high school, studying social work in Canberra, when one of my friends moved to Sydney and started the Summit program in CRU educational camps. I watched her serve in ministry, grow as a follower of Jesus, and be connected and a part of an incredible community. What started with my joking about moving to Sydney and joining CRU ended with an application and a farewell to my family. Over the next 4 years, I saw God move in ways that I could have never imagined. I matured in my faith. I learned how to evangelize, and I became a master in creating a short-term community for campers. And it was in these years that I saw kids from as young as kindergarten all the way up to year 12s know Jesus, be introduced or reintroduced to Jesus, and experience the love of the Father through the camp leaders that they met. Camps are a place where kids can come away from their norms and from their comfortable lifestyles, be challenged to consider faith outside of their school context, and meet young leaders who are so passionate for Jesus that it's contagious. During one educational camp, I was sitting around an outdoor table at the Galston campsite. Year 11 girls crowded around in our discussion group time. It was the final day of camp, and I felt like the right thing to do in that moment was share a part of my testimony, and I shared some of the hardest times that I had experienced when I was their age. An experience that had ultimately changed my perspective on life and faith. Sam, one of the girls, stood up abruptly in tears and walked away. I thought, oh no, what did I do? What did I say? Discussion groups wrapped up, and I immediately went to find Sam. I sat down next to her. She said, I have never heard of anyone who has experienced the same thing as me. So Sam opened up about her life and her struggles, the desperation she was feeling, and the isolation of seeing no one else who was experiencing the same. Yet she was speaking as if something had changed. And something had, because over camp, the stories that she had heard time and time again about Jesus suddenly had clarity. The hope and peace that she longed for were right there and accessible to her. Jesus came for her, and that realization had both of us in tears as we sat outside the dining hall. She decided that day to follow Jesus, and we prayed together with her teacher, and I was able to gift her a Bible. This is just one story of thousands that occur each year on CRU camps. God's hand is in this ministry, and CRU is helping young people to fix their eyes on Jesus, the author and the perfecter of faith. And it has been a privilege to be a part of God's ministry, God's work through CRU, and I'm excited to see how God continues to empower CRU to share Jesus with this next generation. So thank you to each of you for your support, your generous support, both in prayers and in donations, and I ask you to continue to pray for CRU. Our ministry at CRU is important, and without God and the work of His Spirit, none of this would be possible. So thank you.